How can you live a happy life? In today's video, I plan to show you how to identify what you want, how to pursue what you want, and then finally, my instant hacks for happiness, for you to live a happy life. With that being said, in the past, I used to not live a happy life. I actually used to be pretty miserable. And so it was through these changes that it helped me live a happy life. With that being said, I promise you by the end of this video, you will understand how to live a happy life. On top of that, my name is Richardson. I'm a coach here at Life on Your Terms, and I make these videos to pass on my experience and pass on my knowledge to help you guys learn these things quicker than I ever could. So the first key in understanding how to live a happy life is to identify what you want. So often, I think that we tend to live for others. We live for what our parents want us to be. We live for what our friends want us to be. We live for what society wants us to be, but we never truly consider what we want. So to identify and find what you want, I have a few activities you can go through. Before we get to that though, I want to mention that I don't want you to focus on living a happy life. I want you to focus on living a life that is you making the most out of your time here. Because focusing on happiness means that you disregard all of our emotions. Not disregard, but you think they're wrong. So when you're not happy, when you're sad, when you're mad, when you're stressed, you'll feel bad about it. But understanding those emotions are completely normal and actually really healthy and really good, then you can move through life and actually feel really good about life. When you only chase happiness, you're gonna put yourself at a deficit and you'll probably never attain it. So I want you to focus throughout this video on what is making the most out of your life, because that's how I found that I'm the most happy. Now with that being said, you wanna ask yourself, what does amazing look like for you? And an easy way to do this is you can go around the balance wheel. It's a tool in the description below if you wanna take it at the end of this video. But basically, professional, relationships, resources, and health are the four categories. You go around and you ask yourself, what does amazing look like in these areas? I do this every year. And so when you ask yourself that question, you can figure out what does amazing look like for you. And if you want a little bit something more specific, you can go through these four situations. The four situations are, if I were to give you $100 million, what would you buy with it? Where would you go? What kind of job would you do? If I told you that I will pay you $100,000 for the rest of your life, but you just have to be doing something you love, what would you be doing? If I told you that you had a 3-year expiration date, what would you do with your time left on Earth? And the final one is that if you were at your 100th birthday and everybody was talking about the legacy and all the accomplishments you've had, what are some of the things that would be being said that would really mean a lot to you? These four situations can really highlight what you want out of life on a long-term scale. I'd encourage you to actually write them out and then compare them. If you can compare the $100 million one to the 100K a year one, you can look at the differences and you look at how would you spend that money, or what would you be doing, and which path really enlightens you and the one that you find the most exciting. So that's another activity you can do, is go through those four situations. And especially you pair this with what does amazing look like, it can be really helpful. Now on top of this, on the shorter term scale, the four situations and what does amazing look like is more broader, grander things. Something you could do in the short term to change tomorrow is that you ask yourself, what does a great day look like? So for me, it includes working on things like this, like making YouTube videos, coaching, stuff like that, getting a really good lift in, and then spending time at the end of the day with people that I care about. And maybe even a nap, throw in a nap in there. But when I configure my great day, then I just try to make every day like that day. And then I find that I'm pretty happy because every day is like that day. So if you can ask yourself, what does a great day look like to you? And then just optimize your life about creating that great day. So the first step is to identify what you want. So the second step is to pursue what you want. So you've identified what you want, and that is key, what you want. Not what your parents want, not what your friends want, not what society wants, but what you want. Because once you've identified what you want, you're gonna be in line with that, and then you're gonna start pursuing what you want. I think people do think about what they want, but they don't pursue it. They may take the path of least resistance, but I would encourage you to pursue it, because life can be fleeting. And in my experience in life, I'm a young man, I'm only 23, but in my 23 years, I have never regretted going big on anything, on having big goals, on having big action. I've never regretted any of that. So I'd encourage you that while life is fleeting, to go big On whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, whatever you're pursuing, go big on it. And when you go big on it, I want you to take action and take meaningful action. So many people are like, yeah, I want to start a business. And then they make their business cards, they make their website. That's a complete fucking waste of time. You don't do anything meaningful by doing that. So I want you to take meaningful action on what you want. So if you want to get in shape and you take the balance wheel and your physical health is a 3 out of 10, I want you to start going to the gym 5 days a week, because that'll make meaningful progress on what you want. You'll be pursuing what you want. So find out what you want and then just take action. Just start acting on it. And on top of that, I find that I'm happiest when I'm in the pursuit of my impact and of my purpose on this earth. My purpose is to help people not be a victim of their situation, because that's how I felt. When I was 17 years old, I struggled with that a lot. So my purpose is to make sure people don't feel that way. And when I am in pursuit of that, I feel the happiest and I feel the best about myself. So if you can find your thing, you can find your purpose, you can find what you want, I promise you, you will feel the happiest. Fuck if your dad wants you to be a doctor and you don't want to be a doctor because it's not meaningful to you. You want to go work in nature or whatever. I implore you to please go do that. And the reason I get emotional about this and passionate about this is because it's made such a big difference in my life. When I wasn't sure, when I didn't know what was next for me, I felt terrible. I felt miserable. Once I figured it out, once I started pursuing it with meaningful action, I started feeling better and better. And the more I pursue this, the better I feel. And so with that being said, I want you to pursue your goals. And an easy way you can do this is just start setting goals. Set goals, daily, weekly, quarterly, yearly goals. I like to use sticky notes. I like to use my journals. Whatever you have to do, find a way to track your goals, set the goals, and then continually pursue them. And continue to visualize what's possible. I'm reading a book right now. It's not 2x, go 10x. Or I don't know the title. It's something like that. It's to go 10x in your life. And it is a phenomenal book about not thinking small, not thinking about the 2x mindset, but going 10x, going big. And that's what I want you to do. And I want you to take meaningful action pairing with your big ideas and your big dreams. Finally, the third point within this is to what things you can do to create almost instant happiness. And some ways to create instant happiness, or joy, as I like to refer to as, is put in time to your meaningful relationships in your life. I think you'll feel a lot better if you put in time with your family, you put in time with your spouse, put in time with your friends. You just take a few hours to spend that time with them, you're just gonna feel better, you're gonna elevate a mood. That's one thing you can do to just generally feel better. On top of that, another thing you can do is mindfulness. Mindfulness is really helpful, is really enjoy the moment you are within. That's what I try to do every day. I try to think, what am I grateful for today? That's a form of mindfulness. I like to just sit out also on my deck over there and just look out at the trees and just enjoy the moment that I am in. On top of that, another thing you can do is an ice bath. You're like, what? How does that relate to happiness? The reason is because it releases the same amount of dopamine as snorting a line of Coke, and it's not over 15 minutes, it's actually over hours. So over the whole day, you're gonna feel an elevated mood. And anecdotally, I can attest to this, that when I take an ice bath on those days, I feel a lot better. So an ice bath is another way that you can just raise your dopamine naturally and feel really good throughout the day because you did something hard. On top of the ice bath, I would encourage you to do exercise. Exercise, again, naturally releasing chemicals and endorphins to make you feel better. And on a long-term scale, you're gonna feel better because you're prioritizing yourself. On top of exercise, sleep is another way, an instant hack to make you feel better. I know when I take a good nap, I wake up feeling amazing. And if I get a good solid 8 hours of sleep, again, I wake up feeling amazing. So those are 4 kind of instant hacks that you can do. So mindfulness, ice bath, exercise, and sleep. And one final thing, well, 2 final things, is number 1, work. At least for me, as I said earlier, when I'm in pursuit of my dream, when I work, sometimes I feel better and I feel like I'm living a happy life. And also there's time for hobbies as well. Sometimes video games feel really good for me. Sometimes I like to play frisbee golf, those really enjoyable activities for me to create instant happiness. So again, meaningful relationships, mindfulness, exercise, sleep, ice baths, work, or hobbies. Those are the 7 instant hacks you can do to create instant joy within your life. That's it. That's how you can live a happy life. I know there's way more things you can do, but those are just a 10-minute breakdown of it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And if you leave a comment about what was most helpful for you, it helps me create more videos.